Welcome back. This segment brought to you by Games and Things. Whether you are into watching big games or just the latest movies, the best way to do it is in comfortable home theater seating. And no one has a selection to match the different types and brands of seating that they have at Games and Things. It's fantastic. OurGameRoom.com will give you a hint of what they have, but you really need to stop by their showroom there on Level Road, at the corner of Kingston Pike and Level Road. It's just tremendous. They'll have to pry you out of the seats. Games and Things, check them out. I got mine there. Very happy that I did. All right. You talk to people, you check the message boards. There are plenty of people saying that Heupel is walking into a roster that's perfect in terms of the skill position is just made for his kind of coaching. It's like Pruitt was recruiting for him. I saw that on my message board this week. There's no reason this team can't win and go to have an 8-win season this year. Then on the other side, you got people who are saying, "Ooh, there's holes all over the place." Coaches seem to take this view of it because they don't really want the gig. But other people would say this is worse than what Jeremy Pruitt inherited from Butch Jones. Maybe worse than anything since Johnny Majors got here in 1977. Which side is closer to the truth? It's talent to win now, or it's bad roster?
I'm closer to the roster is closer to what Dooley inherited and Butch Jones inherited and John Majors inherited and Pruitt. I don't think it's a real strong roster. I think if they go 6-6, that's a pretty decent achievement. I do see some pretty good athletes there, but I also see some young talent that's unproven, whether it's receiver or running back. I don't see much on the offensive line. And you may have a good quarterback on this roster. I don't know yet. Defensively, boy, there are a lot of holes. And if you go by the transfer portal, which you can't 100% right now, but if you go by it, then that's going to make the defense even thinner.
I'll say it's in between for me. I think it's about what the other recent coaches inherited, because I think it's a roster that still has talent on it. If they can go to a bowl game this year, I think it's still a real possibility. But is it a team that's got a chance to win 8 or 9 games? I don't think so. So I think it's got its limitations, but it's not the depleted, trash, worst ever roster that some people have kind of made it out to be. And I think personally that the transfer portal losses are probably a little bit overstated by some people. I think they lost to obviously a handful of guys who played a lot of football, but a couple at least who were not irreplaceable. So I think they'll be okay, all things considered, but not very good.
You took a hit at running back.
You're taking that's good. You're disagreeing with me because I'm one of the ones who'll trash the roster. Because here's the thing: when you say you lost some guys who weren't that great to begin with, but they were starting.
Right.
What's that say about the guys who are behind them?
Oh, sure, yeah.
That would be my concern is they weren't that special. They were special enough to start in front of the guys you still have.
Yeah, I guess my concern is you had a defense that couldn't get off the field on third down that may not be better, that's going to be on the field for more snaps or just the way it looks. How much difference is your philosophy with the offensive line? I mean, you've gone to where, you were more of like just trying to smash mouth to where now you're going to have to be more athletic or do more different types of blocking. You look at all the offensive production from the quarterback position, from running back position.
Well, let's run through it very quickly.
Okay.
Quarterback position. I have faith in the system, but the quarterbacks are unproven. You got to stop me if I'm wrong. Running back, you got nothing there in terms of proven. Nothing.
Proven, I agree. Tyon Evans, though, I think is really good. So
yeah, I like Evans too, but you're right, they're proven.
Yeah,
no proven. Receiver, you got Velus Jones, a bunch of unproven young guys who are talented. I have faith in the system to get the most out of quarterback and receiver, though. Tight end, nothing to speak of. Offensive line, you lost 3 starters, and it was a so-so line to begin with. Chuck's right. We don't know if they're going to ask the line to block the exact same way and do the same thing. Defensive line?
Yes.
Yes, you feel that's a string?
No, I wrote that down as a concern.
Okay. Linebacker, you might get Crouch back. To'o is going to be probably at Alabama. You got nothing at linebacker.
That's one of the bigger concerns for
I'm going to lure you onto my side.
No.
Defensive backs, you lost your best in Bryce Thompson. I just don't see where to me, it looks pretty barren.
On defense, I think there's some truth to that. On defense, I think the secondary depth and linebacker, like you said, are concerns. I think the defensive line is actually the strength of the defense because you bring back all those seniors for the most part. You've got a lot of options at defensive tackle. If you're switching to a 4-3, they're deep at defensive tackle because you had all these 280-pound defensive ends that will now be defensive tackles in a lot of cases. So I think they're going to be okay there. Got some young, promising pass rushers who could develop. Morgan Joseph, Tyler Barron. So you've got some talent there. But yeah, the back end of the defense is a concern to me.
Now, what about linebacker?
Linebacker too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, basically the front four is good, and the rest
Is.
a lot of unknowns.
You've lost right now the guys in the portal. There's 6 linebackers outgoing. Now some of those guys weren't starting and weren't playing. So I mean J.J. Peterson. But the problem is that J.J. Peterson would have been one of these guys that 2 years ago we'd have said, oh well, you got promising talent there, and he never got on the field. So my fear is, based on what we've seen from Tennessee over the years, where we look at it and say, oh, he was a 4-star and he was a 5-star and he was a 3-star. Yeah, but so many of those 5s, 4s, and 3s don't play like it at Tennessee. Maybe Heupel gets more out of them than Pruitt did, or, well, Jones actually had 2 winning seasons. Maybe he gets more out of them than Pruitt did.
I remember a while back, John, going back and looking at all the stars, and very few of the stars, of the 3 or 4 stars, played above their star rating. Very few.
Most of the upside on this roster is on offense, to your point. I think the unknowns at quarterback are exciting. The unknowns at receiver are exciting. And you have some unknowns at running back. At least a couple of those are exciting.
So just score and go for onside kicks.
Well, and I believe in the system, too.
Yeah.
I feel better about the offense than I do the
But how much is your offensive line going to hold you back, too? That's another concern.
And we've been down that road before. We were way behind.
Oh, really?
We got to. Let's talk about Tennessee's schedule next. Come on back. We'll take a look at the schedule.